How's it going out there, folks? I'm Don. I don't know what I'm in for, but I have an idea that is going to be basically like a philosophy class, because the last song that I reacted to was only a couple weeks ago of Josh Ritter's just took me every which way all over the globe into this thought explosion of warp speed and wonderment. It was absolutely brilliant. So Matt Gallardo, though, requested, maybe because he liked to see me struggle, squirm, ideate, I don't know, but Josh Ritter's song, The Curse. And a number of folks, after I did the reaction to Josh's first song that I did, which was The Temptation of Adam. And you guys were like, oh, do this one, do that one, do this one, do that one. And anyhow, Matt Gallardo beat everybody to the punch, basically, and made a donation request. And so that bumps them way up the list in terms of order of in which I do them. So let's see what Josh Ritter does. And I think I have a live version of him, so I'll now know what he looks like. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. The Curse. Yikes.
We're having a ball.
Black and white.
I want to dedicate this song to Road Records.
Uh-oh.
For everything.
And yet he's calling it The Curse?
He opens his eyes, falls in love at first sight with the girl in the doorway. What beautiful lines, how full of life. After thousands of years, what a face to wake up to. He holds back a sigh, she touches his arm. She dusts off the bed where till now he's been sleeping under miles of stone. The dried fig of his heart, under scarab and bone, starts back to its beating.
After thousands of years. Those are the kinds of lines he throws in here that take me somewhere else. All right, let's see if I can pick it out.
She carries him home in a beautiful boat. He watches the sea from a porthole in stowage. He can hear all she says as she sits by his bed. And one day his lips answer her in her own language. The days quickly pass, he loves making her laugh. First time he moves, it's her hair that he touches. She asks, are you cursed? He says, I think that I'm cured. Then he talks of the Nile and the girls in bulrushes.
I love the instrumentation in this one.
In New York he is laid in a glass-covered case. He pretends he is dead. People crowd round to see him, but each night she comes around and the two wander down the halls of the tomb that she calls a museum. Often he stops to rest, then less and less. Then it's her that looks tired, staying up asking questions. He learns how to read from the papers that she is writing about him, and he makes corrections. It's his face on her book. Oh, and more come to look. Families from Iowa, Upper West Siders. Then one day it's too much.
Wait. Iowa and Upper West Side. Iowa, I just happen to know this. University of Iowa has one of the top writing programs in the country. I don't know if that's a nod to that. He mentioned bulrushes earlier, which might be a nod to the Grateful Dead, because they have a song in which they mention the bulrushes and a girl in them. And then he said Upper West Side, I think, which is normally a reference to New York City, the Upper West Side up by Riverside. He throws in so many details in here that send you somewhere else. Like she's got a book with her picture on the cover, like she's writing, but he's making corrections. So they just went from a museum that he called referenced like a glass tomb. Yeah.
He decides to get up and his chaos ensues. He walks outside to find her. She's using a cane and her face looks too pale. She's happy to see him. As they walk, he supports her. She asks, are you cursed? But his answer's obscured in a sandstorm of flashbulbs and rowdy reporters. So
there's got to be a story behind the rowdy reporters line. I can't even fathom where this is going because I don't know where it's been. It's clearly taking place over expanses of time.
The two tour the nation. He gets out of limos. He meets other women. He speaks of her fondly. Their nights in the museum. She's just one more rag now. He's dragging behind him. She stops going out. She just lies there in bed in hotels and whatever towns they are speaking. Then her face starts to set and her hands start to fold, and one day the dried figure of her heart stops its beating.
This is some of the best instrumentation for a song I've heard. The instrumentation has a sense of the childlike. It's almost like a lullaby to put a child to bed with sweet dreams, but the song is not, the lyrics are not that. The contrast in here, the unknowingness, that might be what I would call this song.
Long ago on the ship, she asked why pyramids. He said, think of them as an immense invitation. She asked, are you cursed? He said, I think that I'm cured. Then he kissed her and hoped that she'd forget that question.
Did he just bring us back to that original moment? So that was just a long interlude of various thoughts that maybe one of them had? Because that question was, do you think you're cursed? And all these things took place in between. Are we now getting the real answer? Are we now going to get the real answer to her question to him, do you think you're cursed? And then he said, I think he said cute, not cured. I think he said, I think I'm cute. Let's see. Child's lullaby.
Mr. St. Cassier right there on the piano. If you haven't seen Liam Hurley's amazing puppet music video to that song, you should check it out.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to start charging extra for Josh Ritter reactions. This Matt Gallardo is one of these where you'd have to see the lyrics written out. And then some things, there are people who still, all these hundreds of years later, debate what Shakespeare meant in his various plays, and or different poems, Milton's Paradise Lost, or So, even simple poems, Wadsworth, Longfellow, people still debate the meanings of them because words and thoughts, they're not fixed precisely in time and in meaning. Each person, this is the subjectivity of life. But something like this, it's at times, it's like, all right, he's throwing words out there. Are they truly connected, or were they randomly selected to have some connection, but not enough of a connection that you'd always be wondering what they meant? Some people have special talent. Some people realize that they have a special talent. Some people realize they have a special talent that other people will never recognize they've got. And they find themselves in a particular genre, in this case, music or line of work, and they're able to take advantage of that. I don't know if that's going on with Josh. He's clearly eccentric and not in a pejorative way. He is just very different and unique with his lyricism and his instrumentation, which I appreciate. But as far as, there's nothing linear. I mean, the human brain, heuristically, we're wired for pattern recognition. Without going too deep into that and my ideas about that we like to, it's called a nexus, and it's a legal term. You try to find in between each thought a connection, how the subsequent thought relates to the prior thought. And then in the end, you've got this composite picture of something you can act upon or just merely understand. And this is one of these songs where an artist, where you're like, okay, what is he doing with that convention of connected thought? And is there enough of a strain there to say, yes, they are all connected? And I'm guessing he had an idea in his mind in this one. It took place over time. And I don't know if he just returned to the original question she asked him, do you think you're cursed? At the end of the song, because it was posed only twice. And I said that interlude might have just been what happened in his mind when she asked him the question. And then we're brought back to the current moment, and he's going to answer the question. And there was a ship. And I mean, was he imagining after she asked the original question, and then basically the rest of the song until he repeated that question, was he imagining his life with her and that's what it looked like to him? There was fame in it, which is a common thought people have. So like that would be like an imagining. You wouldn't necessarily imagine your life going horribly if you have this dream, you like this woman, but he met her on a passenger ship. Well, I can't even tell you. I mean, there's always some open-endedness to a song, even if it's a song that's very linear of heartbreak and this happened and that happened and then they're not together or what have you. But there's always some open-endedness because we each hear and feel and relate to songs differently because we relate to them based on our experiences in life. But this isn't one that I could have fixed a meaning to, but I'll tell you this, that if one of my philosophy professors had said, all right, we're going to listen to this song and then we're going to dissect it, it would have been a very lively discussion. It would have probably brought out even some of the quietest students in the class to venture some guesses on it. And music will do that anyway, but yeah, Matt Gallardo, I'm not going to rate that. I'm going to leave it open like that. You guys and evidently there are other songs that some of you, I remember reading in the comments, said that like, oh, don't inflict that on Don yet. It's like, Jesus, what does Josh do? He does everything with a smile. He just has a very affable face. His disposition seems very kind, very approachable, very sweet. And yet he goes and does this. So, yeah, it's called The Curse. Why he dedicated this to Rogue Records, I don't know. Was this meant favorably, or was that a shot across the bow with a smile on his face? Okie dokie, folks. You can leave whatever thoughts you got on this one. I don't know where we're going with it. But, Matt, thank you again for the donation request, I think. And I don't know. Thank you. All right, guys, leave your comments for whoever you want to leave them for. Maybe Josh will see this one day. Have a great day. I'll see you in another video. Keep rocking the country.